sir. Oh, first I have to give a big thank you to Plymouth Congregational Church for hosting us tonight. It's very exciting to be able to use their facilities tonight. Of course, for all of the staff and volunteers who are helping us out tonight, and of course for you all for taking time out of your Thursday evening and joining us. I'm Vanessa, and I'm director of Homeward 2020. So this is an initiative that I'm guessing many of you have heard of, but for those of you who may not be as familiar, Homeward 2020 is a community-based initiative, and it's a collaborative of partners, community members, nonprofit organizations, government entities, private entities that are all working together to end homelessness in Fort Collins. And one of the questions that I get asked most frequently in my job is, well, can we actually end homelessness? Come on. And I will tell you, yes, we can. Because what we know about homelessness right now in Fort Collins is that it's a situation that for a lot of people, once they fall in, even if they get housing, they'll return to homelessness. It's kind of this cycle. Many people that enter homelessness, they end up staying in shelters, staying on the streets for years. So it's a situation that right now is fairly difficult to escape. And so what Homeward 2020 really seeks to do is to work with all of these organizations that we already know are doing great work and figure out how we really build a system out of these organizations, out of these resources, to create a clear path out of homelessness for every individual and for every family. And so when you think about homelessness in that way as something that's enduring, as something that's hard to escape, yes, we can end homelessness as we know it. And forums like this tonight really help us start that conversation and really figure out how do we utilize all of the passion in this community, all of the resources, all of the time and talent that we have in order to make that happen. So there were some, of course, an agenda that was sent out prior to this, and there are copies at both doors if anybody wants to pick that up. And on the flip side of that, we wanted to include some data about really what homelessness in Fort Collins looks like. And so some of the statistics that we decided to include on there is that last January, we conducted basically the first point in time count that's been done in several years in Fort Collins. And this was over a 24-hour time period. We tried to survey everybody that we could come in contact with who was either staying in a shelter or staying in an unsheltered area. So that can be sleeping outside, staying in a car, staying in a shed, any place that's unfit for human habitation. It doesn't count individuals and families who are staying doubled up, and we know that there are literally thousands of people who are in that situation, and it's a really critical component of homelessness as well. But just looking at that kind of narrower definition, we counted a total of 250 individuals who were staying in shelters or in unsheltered areas that night. And over a third of those individuals were living in a family setting, meaning they had at least one child who was under the age of 18. And that included a total of 49 children who were counted. And again, we know a lot of our homeless families are staying doubled up. They're not accessing the shelters, but they're kind of utilizing the friends and family that are opening their homes to them. And one family even qualified as chronically homeless, meaning that they had been homeless for more than a year. So those are the stories that we hear and the reasons that we know that we need to do things differently. As I'd mentioned, we know that there's a huge proportion of our homeless population that are really staying in those doubled up settings. It's estimated that around 1.65% of any city's homeless population, or of any city's overall population, kind of is staying in those doubled up situations for financial reasons. And so that corresponds to about 2,375 people in Fort Collins that we can estimate are staying in that situation. And just to kind of put another lens to the homelessness issue, when we've talked with Poudre School District, they served over 1,000 students who qualified as homeless based on their definition during the 2010-2011 school year. So there's lots of opportunity for work, and there's certainly the need. And we definitely appreciate the opportunity to start this conversation. What we really want for this forum tonight is just to start the dialogue and really hopefully share some information about some programs that are doing some great work in the community and see if there's a way that we can help support them in their work. So With that being said, kind of the next phase of this evening, we're going to give the microphone over to Homelessness Prevention Initiative, Faith Family Hospitality, and the One Congregation, One Family program to talk for a few minutes about the work that they do. One thing that I will say before I turn the mic over is that we have also sign-in sheets next to each door, and there are also a few copies in each of the breakout rooms. And if you wouldn't mind signing in before you leave tonight, that'd be very much appreciated. There's also an opportunity for you to check boxes if you'd like to receive more information about any of the programs that are featured here tonight, any of these 3 initiatives up here, anybody out there. And so if you would like more information, just check the box and we'll make sure that you're connected to the right folks. So thank you again for attending, and I'm going to turn it over to Richy Lynn with the Homelessness Prevention Initiative.